Welcome back, and now we've got the Vibe segment with a great guest, Dr. Mark Mariner. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
And with Valentine's Day being here and National Heart Month, we'd like to talk about the 3 steps of putting your spark back into a relationship. And you have 3 steps being a relationship psychologist. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and then start getting into giving us some tips?
Very good. My name's Mark Mariner. I'm a psychotherapist, counseling, a marriage counselor. I work with Marcia, my wife, and we see couples both in Auburn. We have an office in Auburn and an office in Sutton. And we've been working with couples and individuals, but our primary specialty is with couples. I've been doing that for about 16 years.
So you help with relationship issues and something that might appear to be a stumbling block in getting to know someone. You're going to be speed dial for me on my phone soon, and we'll have you back again because everybody loves this topic. So tell us about the 3 steps that you have that our viewers can learn about to help put a spark back into any relationship.
Sure. The first thing that I like to help couples sort of begin to think about and reflect on is that our observation and experience working with couples is that at the heart of a thriving couple there is a spark of deep love that's there, and oftentimes it gets buried amidst the difficulties of life, amidst stresses, amidst our frustrations with our partner, etc., the stress. And so part of our work is helping to cultivate, to refine that deep love, that spark, if it's there. Now, in some couples, it's not there. But for many couples, it is there. And so one of the exercises that we give couples in that situation would be to help them go back and reflect on their early moments together. When did that love first get triggered in me by my partner? And have them recall that memory and let that memory kind of fill them. And as they recall it, the neat thing about this spark is that it's still there. In the recalling of it, they actually reconnect with that feeling again and reconnect with, oh, this is why I'm with this person. So that's one area, this first step. And the other thing that we do to help with this first step is having couples begin to reconnect with what it is that they really are grateful for and appreciate in their partner. It's so easy in the day-to-day to be in touch with the frustrations that we live, the dysfunction of my partner. Why don't they do this? Why are they like that? And it's often harder to cultivate that attitude of, well, what is it about that person in the day-to-day that I love and really appreciate? Because it's there, it's often hidden and subtle.
So it's sort of like going back into the cloud 9 phase, sort of that honeymoon phase, which I believe should be all the time. That should be the reality.
Yeah, it really is helping to connect with that, because when there is a deep love there, when there is a true connection with my partner, it's still there. It never leaves. It's like a well.
Yeah.
And we can activate it at any time. And the neat thing is, it's not simply going back and touching that cloud 9. Because the more we tap into it and the more we experience it, it deepens it and solidifies it. Oh. So it's not simply the cloud 9, oh, this is wonderful. Yeah. It's a solid, grounded in kind of real life living together. It's a solid, stronger connection. Right. And I can say, you know, I can't believe I love you so much, even after having gone through years and years of haggling it out in the day-to-day.
Wow, God, that feels so good already. Second, then you have another step to help put the spark in.
The next step that we help couples try to understand is that we call it the phenomenon of disproportionate reactions. And when people get a handle on this phenomenon, it really is very helpful in a relationship. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that in the course of the day-to-day, we can get triggered by our partner, by what they say, what they don't say, what they do, what they don't do. It activates a reaction in me that's almost out of proportion to what just happened. So what does that mean that it's out of proportion? It seems like either I start ranting and raving and I'm very critical and I'm reactive outwardly, or I withdraw, I disappear, I get depressed, I disconnect. Right. And why is it disproportionate? It's that we bring baggage into the relationship. Yeah. We all have baggage. And what happens is that very often in the day-to-day, we're not getting activated in that, but some little incident, some event can activate that in us. And when we get activated in that, we lose perception. We lose an accurate perception of what's happening. So, an example would be I wake up in the morning and I come out and my wife Marcia's kind of in a bad mood. She doesn't really want to talk to me. She's caught up in something. And I'm waiting to, say good morning and be greeted in the morning, and she's not there. She's just not, get away from me. Her nonverbal is, I don't really need to deal with you right now. And so what happens inside me at that point? If I'm triggered in a disproportionate reaction, suddenly I'm going, how dare she be that way from me?
Right.
She, that's outrageous. All I want is a hug. I'm not asking for anything, and I get caught up in my high horses, and I lose. It's almost like I'm taking personally her mood. And in that moment, I'm getting triggered in something. I'm losing. And instead of just being able to be in the moment and say, I guess she's in a bad mood, I'll leave her alone. I may not like it, but that's proportionate. But disproportionate is when I start taking it personally and I kind of get spinning, and then I start reacting from that place.
Right.
And when I start reacting from that place, she reacts back. And there's this, what happens is this acceleration of conflict and misunderstanding that leads to destructive behavior, and it really, it hampers significantly the relationship. So that's step number 2. How do we help people identify when they're in a disproportionate reaction, and how do we take care of that? Because the good news is that we can manage those reactions.
Right.
We can take care of those holes that are inside of us in a way so that it doesn't do damage to our relationship and also do damage to us.
I like to say you sort of open up your luggage and air out the baggage so you can identify maybe what it is. If it's a sense of abandonment or a sense of something, you sort of get your patients to start looking at what these feelings could be.
What the underlying issue is, because the initial impulse is to blame our partner.
Right.
Or blame ourselves.
Right.
It's like this. All we know is that 2 seconds ago we were fine, and now all of a sudden we're hurting.
Right.
And the thing that hurt us was an interaction with our partner. But what we can find out through listening and looking more carefully is that, yes, my partner may have been the trigger for something, but they weren't the cause for this deeper place. And I need to take care of that and take responsibility for that and not put that on my partner. And
now, let's get to the third, because we could do this the whole show. I should have an hour show just on this, but I'm going to just call it, this is one of my favorite ones, which happens to be communication. And I call it you dip, I dip, we dip. And when you watch a couple dance and they really connect, they really communicate. And the third is about learning how to communicate again or connecting again. So tell us a little bit about that.
What we do with couples is give them some basic communication skills. They're very simple. It's not hard to learn, but it's hard to put it in practice in the day-to-day.
Right.
And there's basic skills around listening, and there's basic skills around sharing. And in a session, I will, or Marcia will help them learn these skills. It's very simple. The first step is actively listening to my partner without interrupting, without being in my but, without waiting, already developing my rebuttal. So we'll have couples, especially if there's a sense that there's some conflict going on. We'll say, okay, we're going to let one of you go and talk all to the end without being interrupted. And then we'll let them go. It's like unwinding the coil. And then once that coil is emptied and ended, and the person says, I'm done, then we ask the person next to their partner to say, now what do you think your partner was wanting you to understand in what you shared? I don't want you to interpret their behavior, react to it. What did they want you to understand? And have them try to express it very briefly. Well, I think she was saying this.
Well, I need to communicate now with you.
Yes.
And I think we're communicating well. So we're going to have to wrap this one up. But this is so interesting, and I love it. And I hope our viewers got something out of this in reference to sparking their relationship. Tell us how they can find you and Marcia.
They can reach us at our website,
which is popping up.
Is popping up, great. And they can also reach us at our number in Auburn, at our Auburn Center at 508-832-4175.
Great, and we're going to have you on again because this is just an endless conversation.
Oh, it is.
Thank you so much, and say hi to Marcia for me.
I will, Christina. Thank you.
We'll be right back.